Hey everybody, Coulter here. Today we're going to talk about soil preparation for growing a small-scale commercial production. I'm going to be doing it in a greenhouse because it's the middle of March in North Dakota and heaven knows we don't really grow anything outside this time of year. So we'll be showing you in a greenhouse, and we use the same methods out in our high rotation beds outside. This works great for pretty much everything. The recipes I'll be showing you for what we put into the ground are something we mainly use just in our high rotation beds and our greenhouses, but it does still apply to more our field beds as such as well. So let's get right into it. So as you can see, we're in greenhouse here. This is greenhouse 1 here on the farm, and we've got black fabric down right now. We've still got all our strings up. So the first thing, of course, we want to do is we kind of want to clean everything up a little bit. We'll kind of gently tie all these up and get them out of our way so they're not in a road for when we're tilling and putting in organic matter and such like that. We'll roll up our fabric, take it outside or to the front of the greenhouse, whatever is best, so that this is bare dirt. And actually, I was showing you in the other greenhouse that we already have the fabric out and all the strings hung. But our goal is, in the fall, we want to tear everything out so it's nice and clean. There's nothing to harbor extra disease or insects or anything like that, so we don't deal with pests the following year. So this year, for example, one thing I have done is I have watered all these greenhouses that we're going to be preparing. I watered them for about all of daylight, so around 12 hours, depending on the size of the greenhouse. What that does is it softens the soil up for tilling, and it kind of kickstarts the biological action again. I let the greenhouses get a little too dry over the winter, so the biological activity has died off for the most part. So we want to reinitiate that biological activity, get it thriving before we plant stuff in about 2 weeks here. Alright, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. We've got fabric here in the greenhouse. We need to pull that up first. We need to move all our strings out of the way so that we can do things like till. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you kind of what we put into the greenhouse and in our high rotation beds. It's pretty much going to apply to any of your high rotation beds, outside or inside. What I have done is I have watered the greenhouses really thoroughly to try to kickstart the biological activity and to make it easier to till. It'll be less dusty when I till, so it'll be just a lot easier to work with. Quick note on tilling inside of a greenhouse: make sure your roll-up sides are up or your vent fans are on. I've about killed myself with the carbon monoxide coming off a gas tiller because I wasn't paying attention. It was cold outside, I was tilling inside, and about gassed myself out. We will pull all this out, we'll get it out of the road, pull all the drip line, we will add our amendments, and then we'll get to tilling. So let's hop over to the other greenhouse where we've already prepped all the strings and the fabric and stuff, and we will look at what we need to do. So now we're here. The first thing I want to talk about is the soil. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is soil moisture is really important. So on the top, we can tell this is pretty dry. If we dig around a little bit and it's nice and moist, then we're good. If not, then we have trouble. This has got a lot of organic material in it. You can still see a lot of the organics, which is really good. This is good moisture content to support healthy life. You can actually see we've even got worms in it, which is really fantastic. This means that we're beginning to be active, which means it's definitely warm enough to till in here. So now that we've had a look at our soil, we've watered it to get it to this consistency. It was very dry. It was pretty hard to till if it's too dry when you start. But once you get it moistened enough to till decently, get the soil biology active, now what we need to do is we need to look at kind of what we want to do. My soil, we've been treating it for many years in this spot, and we've been trying to treat it well. So it's got a lot of organic material, but part of keeping it that way is maintaining it, so adding more. So one thing we're going to add is, today I'm actually going to use some of my BX soil mix from the production end of things for the bedding plants. And the reason is I forgot to thaw out my peat moss for this video, and I need to get this done. I forgot to thaw out my peat moss ahead of the video time, and it's the time when I need to do this now. I need to get it tilled and ready so it's ready in time to plant. So today we're going to use the BX mix. It will work fine. If you can use peat moss or composted manure, that's your best option. My composted sheet manure is in a big pile frozen solid, so that's not really practical for us to use this time of year. Usually we will get another rotation in the greenhouse where we'll bring that in, so that happens once a year. That's one of the best catalysts to really get the biological activity rolling. We have other alternatives for that too, which is some of this. This is a custom blend that we make. It's very slow release low ammonic nitrogen, so it's not really something that's going to burn stuff. It will release too much nitrogen if you put too much of it in a greenhouse, especially, and you could get some bugs, but generally speaking, since I changed the mix, we haven't had an issue. This is kind of our own custom blend. It's all natural. It's really effective. The soil biology loves it. It's really good organic matter. Something else we like to use is we like to use perlite. This is really excellent to add aeration to the soil. It's basically, you could think of it very simply put like popcorn glass. That's really crude analogy of what it is, but it's inert. It doesn't hold water, it doesn't hold nutrition. The reason we use it is it helps in the soil to maintain tiny little air pockets, which helps the roots of the plant not to drown and thrive. This would be even more crucial if you're in a heavy clay situation. It starts to make a bigger difference. The biggest thing with the perlite is you want to wear a mask. Even just handling the bag, there's a little dust that comes out and it's making me want to cough. It's really fine particulate, the dust is, but we will have the vent fans on when we work it. We need some extra nutrition, so a main source of nutrition for our plants, I'll be using the Sustain 464. This is better than the higher levels of Sustain. This is pasteurized turkey litter, hydrolyzed turkey litter, I should say. The other one is chicken and turkey. They have a higher grade, and we've tended to have a few more bug issues with it just because it's a little bit hotter or richer of a nitrogen source, and the plants can be uptaking nitrogen a little too quickly. We're going to put this all out. I know my side beds are really, really rich right now in organic material, so I'm not going to be adding any peat or anything to those, but I will be adding my Sustain as well as my home blend mix, which, by the way, you can order in smaller quantities through our website. I'll put a link to that in the description. So now that we've talked a little bit about what we need to do to the soil, let's actually get to doing it. We're gonna prep it, and then we are going to get it tilled, and then I'll show you a neat little trick for furrowing this, because we used to use scoop shovels, and now we have something really neat we use on our tiller that helps us save a lot of labor. So let's get right to it. Alright, so now what we've done is you saw that we put all of our nutrition down for the plants and our organic matter, and then we tilled. And you don't have to till twice like I did. I generally do. If your soil's nice enough, you really don't have to till more than once. Biggest reason I tilled twice today is because I forgot to set my tiller tines all the way deep, so I just forgot to set the gauge. So now we've got our perlite down. I just want to mix it in, so I'll use my front tine, or I'll use the forward rotation tine on the tiller, and we'll just let it kind of run away from us. And that'll just kind of mix the perlite into the soil. And the perlite is really only here to, because it won't hold water, it will help to allow air to kind of stay in the soil a little bit more. And I added less than I usually would because of two reasons. One, I've added quite a bit the last 2 years. And two is I just added soil mix instead of peat moss, which has a bit of perlite in it, so I didn't need quite as much. Then when we're done mixing this in, I'm going to put the furrowing blade on the back of my tiller. I'm going to put the link in the description to the one that I bought. You need to make sure that it'll work for your tiller. It'll work for a lot of tillers. You just replace the depth stop on the back of your tiller with this, and it'll kind of furrow tilled soil for you, which makes it a lot easier than shoveling all these by hand with a shovel. I've done that for quite a while until I got smart and actually bought a furrowing blade. So let's get this mixed in and get these walkways put together. shovel. I'm going to kind of dress the corners where the tiller kind of struggles to work super efficiently, and I will kind of reshape the beds on the ends where I need to. But now you can see kind of how we do it. Now we'll take and we'll lay our drip line, we'll lay our fabric back down, and we'll be ready to plant in about 2 weeks when we plan to. Meanwhile, I'll try to keep things slightly watered so that the soil biology can stay very active, because the more active the soil biology is, the sooner your slow-release nitrogen and other nutrients will be available to the plant, and the more quickly your plant will be able to absorb it, because the more biology there is, the better nutrient transfer there is to the plant. So, and the fabric, we just use it for water maintenance and for weeding. It's really effective, so we don't ever have to weed our walkways, and it's also really effective so that we don't have to water quite so much. It kind of helps hold the moisture and keeps it a more even moisture content in the soil. So anyhow, if you found this video to be at all informative or helpful to you, or even just entertaining, just ask that you would subscribe, share it with your friends or somebody who you think could find it useful. We're looking to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers by June if possible. That would be fantastic. I hope you found this useful. Anyways, until our next video, get growing.